to go.
To me, I think that this verse is proper old school because it talks about she goes and selects wool and flax. First of all, I had to go and check what was flax, but she works with her hands. So I'm gonna just take it into today's language. And what I think it means is that she sews. She sews and she makes her clothes. Now, I don't sew and make my clothes. Well, actually, I kind of do because I kind of know how to sew. But anyway, that's to the side. And I think this verse talks about she is creative with her hands. She is creative with what God gave her. She clothes herself and she clothes her family. So I'm going to take that into my life today and say, okay, fair enough. I don't sew for my husband except for maybe hemming up the odd trousers. But I guess what it's basically saying is I should be in a position to look after my home and my husband and their clothing and making sure they're clothed well. Now, not necessarily sewing, because I don't know about you guys, I don't have time to sew. Yes, I've got the skill to an extent and I've done some lessons on how to sew, but the truth of the matter is I don't have the time. So instead of sewing today, what do? We go out and buy clothes. So I think this scripture in today's language is saying that the woman goes out to buy clothes to ensure that her and her family are clothed well. Now, when I say go out and buy, alarm bells go, shopping habits come out, everyone runs crazy. I also think this scripture is saying that she's wise enough to know how to shop for her home. I go to the store, I see a cardigan, no need to mention designer names, that is a couple of £100. And I see another cardigan in another store, that's 20, 30 quid. I think the scripture talks about me being wise as to what would I pick. I'm a family woman with 3 children, a home, bills and everything. It's a luxury for me to buy the 1,000, the couple of £100 cardigan. And it's wiser for me to buy the one that's 20, 30 pounds for my home, for myself. So that's what I take this scripture to talk about. Women being wise in their choices and how they look after and clothe themselves in their homes. But not only that, it goes into talking about our hands. And I take that to mean that a woman she's a grafter. She's hardworking. Back in the day, they are sewing with their hands. They're using their hands to create what they're wearing. Today, we're not doing that. But I think it's basically saying, I am ready to work with the hands that God gave me to make sure my home is kept well. I think it also means using my hands in raising my children. Raising my children is a job. Now, that comes down to how are my boys gonna grow up and look after their home? Because I'm not from an attitude of it's all about what the woman does. I'm of an attitude of we both do it. So I'm using my hands as well to nurture my children. And I'm starting to nurture my children from a young age. My boys help me in the kitchen, albeit very, very minimal things, noodles, boiling eggs and things. But I'm nurturing my children now as to how to build their home. I'm nurturing them with the natural gift that God gave me so that my boys can be a blessing in the future to the home that they create. Ultimately, it's my job to raise my children. Ultimately, it's my job to teach my children. And when I say my, I'm including my husband in this my as well, but it's just me talking to you in the film. So ultimately, it's my job to raise my boys. It's my job to teach my boys. And it's my job to make sure, as I teach them, I please God in what I've taught them. So what are you using your hands for? What are you using this? You didn't pay for this, I didn't pay for it. He gave it to us, and he gave it to us to be able to do so much more with it in our home. And as we're doing it in our home, we're not just doing it to please those in our home, but we're doing it to please God. So I use my hands to look after my home, look after my children, buy their clothes, occasionally buy my husband's clothes, not very often. He's got his style, he's got his thing. And I'm hoping in that same essence, I'm also pleasing God in how I'm looking after my home. How are you using these? And how are you looking after your home? Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you were able to pick something from it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and be on the lookout for the next verse. God bless.